Game over, man! Game over!
We haven't even started!
Oh, sorry.
Welcome to Duality Gamecast, sponsored by Gladiator Games. Today's Battle Royale episode features Legendary Encounters Alien.
Welcome to Duality Gamecast. I'm Matt.
And I'm William.
Today we're taking a look at Legendary Encounters, the Alien deck building game from Upper Deck.
Okay, so Legendary Encounters, the Alien deck building game, is based on the Legendary card system, which is the same system that the Marvel Legendary system uses. There's a few tweaks to it, and I'm going to go over that now. First thing is, when you start and you get your basic set of cards, you're also going to pick a role or avatar. Each avatar, in this case the synthetic, also comes with a special card that's going to get shuffled into your base deck. This one's called Versatile Programming. So I add it to my base deck and shuffle it in, and for the rest of the game, that's going to be a special card only I get to use. Then, of course, like at the beginning of every one of these deck building games, you're going to draw your starting hand, 6 cards, and then you begin the game. At the beginning of the player's turn, they take the top card of the hive deck and advance. This pushes any other ones that are out on the board forward, and if they fall off here, they're going to flip over in the combat zone, and you'll have to fight or deal with them. Then on your turn, you're going to play the cards from your hand in whatever order you want, and they're going to give you basically 2 types of resources to use. The first one is attack. The second one is recruit points. So attack is used to scan and fight monsters up here in the complex, and recruit points are used to recruit extra characters from the HQ. So on your turn, you can see right now that there's a bunch of face-down cards here. In order for me to engage or do anything with them, first I have to scan. It's pretty simple. The little value right here at the bottom shows in order to scan this card, I have to use 2 fight. So I'll use 2 of the fight I have so far this turn to reveal this card. It's an alien. Who would have thought? Now, in order to beat this card, I would need to have 3 more fight. If I did it, I would simply kill it, it'd move to the dead enemy pile, and we've vanquished one of the threats in the game. But you can also use your combat to keep scanning more additional rooms, and you can buy things with your recruit in between and in whatever order you want. So if you recruit a character, it's going to go in your discard pile. Later on, it's going to be shuffled back in your deck, and you can use it again, and of course, instantly a new card refills. Gameplay is going to continue like this, moving around the board, until all the objectives have been met. Each game has 3 objectives. They all have a specific thing on them that will set it off and finish the objective for you. Alright, so some of the things that you might find here as you're examining are, first of all, of course, aliens. Also might find hazards, which key up in order on this little location card right here, and it'll make bad things happen, like more monsters showing up, or everyone has to discard cards. Also, there's events. Events are keyed off of the objective, and they once again do something bad for you usually, but sometimes it could be something good. And so you can see that sometimes when you're scanning, you're not going to find an alien to fight, you're going to find some other game mechanic that's going to show up. The third thing you might, or the fourth thing actually you might find here, is the actual parts of the objective. In this case, in order to complete the first stage here, I have to find both parts of the SOS. This is part 1. So you're going to keep playing this way, moving through the hive deck here, and when you've either completed all the objectives or everyone's dead, the game ends.
Alright, so Legendary Encounters, the Alien deck building game. It's a cooperative deck building game for 2 to 5 players, ages 17 plus. William, what do you think of the mechanics?
Improvements, I feel, is the first thing that came to mind. I played the Marvel Legendary game. It was alright. Definitely not our most favorite deck building game. This one, I still don't think the deck building component of it is that much more exciting, but the cooperative aspect of it is way more involved than this one. All the objectives are actually based off of the 4 movies, so the 4 actual Alien movies, and you can mix and match them too to make your own custom thing, but you actually get kind of a storyline of the movie when you're playing it, and you actually do care about the other players. And in the Marvel Legendary game, it was cooperative in the fact that the game could beat you, but you're still playing for points to try to win. In this one, it's a group high five if you survive. You really do. It's more often beats you than not. It gives you much more of a team building thing. And on some added stuff they did to it is there's hidden agendas. You can have a traitor possibly in the game. If you want to play some more advanced rules, people can become aliens if they get killed by facehuggers and chestbursters, and then all of a sudden you're dealing with this horrible, scary thing that's just annihilating your team. So I think the mechanics, while not a vast change from the Marvel Legendary game in terms of the deck building mechanics of it, the rest of it really add on to it. the complex, the fact that the aliens are all hidden, you have to spend time scanning and looking, and you're always going, well, should I scan this right now, or should I fight the monsters that come out in the combat zone and are attacking us every round? If we could just get this one piece, we might be able to finish the game. It gives this cool tension. The fact that you're picking roles, that's another thing that greatly changed. In the Marvel game, you were some anonymous shield force that was, kind of leading the heroes. In this one, you pick somebody, like the synthetic or the technician, and they actually kind of help direct you for the rest of the game. You're thinking, oh, I'm good with combat cards. I want to focus more on that. Someone else might be good at buying or sharing. That's something they added too. They added coordinated abilities. They had abilities that you can, on someone else's turn, if I have the right cards, I can give you extra fight or buy. So there's just way more teamwork, I think, is what they did. Again, the actual basic mechanics of buying, the basic fight mechanic of how you kill something, is just adding up points and doing it. That's simple. But I think that they added enough new things to it, and the fact that you actually take damage yourself, and it varies in wounds and types of damages, I think they improved a lot of it.
Definitely. I really liked the mission objectives. It feels like the missions from the movies, or the things that happened in the movies. And they matter, which is awesome. Like you said, Marvel Legendary, what's going on doesn't really matter that much. You're trying to get points for the most part. This is a dangerous game.
Yes.
And a couple of mechanical things I wanted to point out was, it feels to me like the more players you have, the more bloody this game gets, the more difficult it gets, because it just gets those aliens out that much faster. And the aliens are tough, really tough. I love that we get to see the characters from the movies on the cards and that they mean something. I think that's awesome. There's cool little bits like if you want to use I think it's like a medic ability, you got to make sure there's no aliens in the med lab. So there's a lot of theme built into the mechanics. I really dug that. Events and was it hazards?
Yeah.
They key off of things, kind of like Legendary had the stuff that key off of what villain you were fighting, but it just seems to be more theme-oriented and more consequential in this game.
And it changes as it goes. So depending on which objective you're on, the events work differently. The hazards happen in order. There's 3 hazards in your thing. They tier up as it goes. So you don't, in Marvel, it was, oh, we got another Master Strike. The archvillain is going to do this same move again, type of thing. Where in this, what I liked about it is there's a lot of kind of mystery in it, where you're playing, and I'm sure after you played a while you get it, but it was like an event would come up and be like, hey, person over there by the event deck, tell us what's going to happen now. It was kind of a surprise and interesting. You're trying to figure out. It wasn't as easy to plan out and just go like, oh, scenario A is happening again. It continuously changed and mixed it up.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, this is a mechanical thing we don't talk about too often in our reviews, but you own this game, so just for looking at it from the outside as a player who doesn't have to set it up, it really looks like the setup for this game is kind of a bear.
It's an alien. It's ridiculous. I would say that just they don't have good sorting stuff in the box. So it's just slip sheets or little slip cards between everything. There's so many little decks. The Hive deck that you have to build it every game. It has 3 sections because of 3 different scenarios. You shuffle them separately in order. You're adding cards from another deck based on the number of players to each of those piles. There's a lot of sorting, a lot of setup, and the key things are really small down here on the bottom that separate them for you. So it makes it that part of it is it's a bear. It's a bear. But I think that is the detraction of the game. And if you can push through that, or if you have somebody who's really into sorting and keeping everything straight, once the game gets set up, it runs great.
Yeah, it runs really smoothly. It's just a little bit of a masochistic thing because it takes a long time to set up, and then you're probably going to lose anyway.
Yeah.
One thing, carryover from Marvel Legendary, that's a pet peeve of mine, and you kind of mentioned it almost, is little icons. I don't like little icons. So the cards you can buy and put in your deck have, what do you call them, faction?
They have a faction symbol. And then like a attribute symbol on each one.
And they're small in the corner. And I've just always, it just happened to me legendary all the time. I would miss it or think I had one, I had the other. There's got to be a better way to do that iconography. And then to make the sorting ones, like you said, even smaller is ridiculous. So that's a fail. But like you said, once the setup is done, the game moves along great. All the other iconography and text is easy to read and easy to understand. Mm-hmm. And how this board flows is real smooth, I think, too.
Yes. Yeah, it definitely feels, I mean, because of the way the complex works, the things are coming out and they're hidden, and there'll be times where you're, in this game, where you're scanning for something, and you're like, I hope this isn't an alien, I hope it's a blank, so that we get another gap, like that puts a kind of a gap in this chain and gives us some time. Or you're hoping it's an alien because you need to find something to kill. And it's just, everything in this game just keeps, you're always moving. It's all full of surprises, and that's what I think was neat about it, is that most deck building games, the cards are either all out, or there's like this set of just like 6 cards you can buy from. You buy one and, oh, I hope the next card's good. And this one, the whole thing was surprise and excitement, and it really did feel like you were exploring, and you were like, oh man, when you're hoping there isn't an alien down that corner when you shine your flashlight. And so it comes right across in it. It's also neat that they not only do they have the different scenarios and locations for the 4 different movies, they have enough heroes as it would be in the Marvel game and they're all set up for each of the different scenarios too. So they actually have, like, if you wanted to, there's a Ripley, for every movie there's a Ripley. So you could take all 4 Ripleys and shove them together and make an all Ripley deck you're playing with, and you're buying only her. But they're all set up out of the box when you sort them that, you're going to play each one, and it's all the characters from each of the movies, or all the main characters from each of the movies.
Yeah, building a theme was definitely a big part of this, well thought out. Yeah. So that's the nuts and bolts of the game. Let's talk about the art and component quality.
Okay. The art on it, I think, is neat. It's really cool that you can definitely see all the characters and everything and scenes from the movie, which is great. You can see, like, Bishop with his knife, doing that with the guy's hands. And it's kind of interesting to me that there's a little bit of I don't know if it was purposeful or not, a little bit of a disconnect, actually, between the art of the starting cards and your character, who's someone who's not actually in the movie. You're not playing one of the main characters. You're playing a priest. That's it. You don't have a name. And the art is decidedly, I think, more like comic book looking on all these cards, and even on your starting character cards, the basic grunts and stuff that you're starting with, than with the rest of the game. So, on some level, I think that's kind of neat that there's actually, like, the mechanics, you kind of don't fit into this, and you do kind of feel like you're separate a little bit, and you're watching the rest of it, almost like you're a spectator in the movie, kind of like watching what's going on. But the art, I think, is great. Component-wise, Little Matt's kind of neat. This is what they give you to sort things in the game. Foam boxes and cards. Not liking it. Yeah. When I was showing somebody the game, we started setting it up, I bumped the game, and all the cards just popped up out of it and mixed together. Mm-hmm. And as we were talking about before, the sorting in this game is a pain. Everything it's a little tiny word, a little tiny phrase at the bottom, which is flavorful because it's all, no one can hear you scream and all that type of stuff, like the sorting things. But it takes so long to sort it, and the storage solution is so poor in it. It's upsetting. It's in that regard.
Yeah, so I'm going to disagree a little on the art. It's all well-made art. I didn't pick up on that, going from cartoony art for your cards to kind of painting art for the recruited cards that are movie characters and things like that. I didn't pick up on that. If that's their intention, great. The cartoony art, it looks like the same artist that I think they use for Marvel Legendary a lot. Mm-hmm. And the painting artist is great if it's one or many, I don't know. But it's good. None of it, though, as a fan of Alien, is H.R.R. Geiger-like art.
I see what you're saying with that, yes.
There's no creepy Geiger-esque feel to any of this art. There's gory art, and I think that's why it's got the 17 plus rating for age. Definitely gory art, and definitely art where you can tell that it's people from the movies. And recreating scenes is cool, like you said, with the knife game. Jonesy the cat's in there, which is totally rad. But man, I would have rather seen dark gothic Geiger art. I really would have. But that's fine. You know, it's all serviceable. I like the little mouse pad board. This is original. As near as I can tell. I don't think we have any other games like that.
No.
So it's made out of that kind of mouse pad materials, that neoprene or something like that.
Yeah, I think that is.
So you can roll it and just roll it back out, and it's nice. I like that a lot. Like you said, the sorting system is horrible. I don't know what they were thinking there. Card quality is the same as Legendary.
Well, it's made to be, some of the stuff is compatible, so you can you can play with Ripley's versus Thanos if you want,
right.
type of a thing.
And it looks like they're going to be driving that a lot. They've got more Marvel Legendary compatible stuff like Guardians of the Galaxy coming out. And I think they have more movie. They have a Predator. That's what it was. A Predator version of this coming out, which is all cool. So it's kind of a mixed bag for me on the art and component quality for sure.
I agree. All right, so my rating. This one's a little tough for me. I really enjoyed the game, and it has a lot of flavor and intense moments in it. And I'm like, oh, this is definitely a must-buy. But then I play a little bit more, or I think about it a little more, and I kind of downgrade it down to a love it. So I'm gonna play the safe bet here. I'm gonna go with 11 on it. I think that if you're super into Alien, this can be cool for you. I think if you really love the Marvel deck building game, this is a must-buy because it takes it to like a next level. But I feel like there's just enough, like I don't want to fault it for the storage, but just the sorting and there's so much game you have to fight through before you get to the really sweet actual game part that you're playing in the middle. I'm going to go with 11.
Legendary Encounters, Alien. Man, I'm having a tough time rating this. I enjoyed playing it. I would not buy it. It's a hard cooperative game, which are the only kind of cooperative games I like. But there's some mixed messages with the quality and the art. It's tough. I'm going to call it a like it. I think if they had made it more consistent in the art theming and had spent the extra little bit of money to make this a more sortable game, and if they improved the iconography to help you sort this game, I would have bumped it up to a love it. If you're an Alien aficionado, it's probably a must buy. But if you're just looking for a good solid cooperative game, it's not bad. Give it a shot. Maybe don't buy it though.
Hey guys, thanks for watching this Battle Royale episode. If you'd like to subscribe, click on me, and thanks to all these people for helping us out.
Ready? Get some color in those cheeks.
Can I?
Pale.